the extent to which Jordan is the only one of us that they've really gone after like this.
Well, he's, first of all, he became famous from this, right? This is the battle was how he emerged. He emerged from this battle over the use of compelled pronouns for various genders, like the
Very similar to Bret's
78
situation.
different genders. Similar, but not.
Okay.
Okay. The difference is Bret's position, he comes from a different place. The way they were going at him was so much more unreasonable. They were saying right away that what he has to do is leave work because he's white. They were basically saying a racist thing, and everyone universally acknowledges as racist except for these super lefties who thought that it made sense because in their mind, every white person is somehow or another guilty of at the very least, using your privilege to advance in the world at to the negative impact of people of color and people of other ethnicities. So they decided that they are going to have a day of exclusion, and instead of this day of absence having black people and people of color stay home, they were going to kick white people out. So it became an aggressive act instead of an act of appreciation. It became an act of punishment or an act of exclusion.
Right.
And by people that are clearly out of their fucking mind. That was also part of the problem. Is their arguments were incoherent. You would see that fucking stupid president of the university standing in front of those kids, and they told him to put his hands down because he was threatening. You're scaring us. You're making violent gestures with your hands. So he puts his hands down, and they start laughing. Okay,
Right.
This is nonsense now. You're in little kids. You got little kids running. You got Lord of the Flies on a grand scale in a state university. And it's all, I mean, this is a public university, right?
Yep.
I mean, they get funding, right?
Yep.
This is all chaos. Nobody agrees. They got baseball bats. They're looking for him if he's coming back to the school. The kids form these vigilante groups with weapons. Over what? Like, who's threatening you? Like, what is happening here that you need weapons?
Okay, but the big story there was the non-reporting.
What do you mean?
Well, the New York Times, Washington Post, all of these major organs, NPR.
They didn't report
They
on that?
didn't want to touch the story. Well, this is my big theory here is that every outfit that has a grand narrative cannot report the news that goes counter-narrative. So racism by blacks against whites cannot be reported by any outfit that believes that racism is impossible by blacks against whites.
That's such a preposterous position. The idea that racism is exclusive to any group.
Well, but the redefinition of that term.
The redefinition can suck a fat dick. It's a stupid redefinition.
Well, that's true.
This idea that the only way you can be racist is if you have power over that other group, that's nonsense. Human beings act as individuals, and they always have power over each other. You have power to intimidate. You have power to isolate. You have power if there's more than a few of you.
But what got confusing about this is that there is no pretense of consistency. I mean, on that side of the aisle, it's like we're going to throw out the following 17 completely contradictory rules, and then we'll tell you which rule is operative in any given moment. So, I was going to throw out this concept of the Hilbert problems for social justice. So one of them is you cannot understand me because my experience is too different, and you must understand me because my is so important.
Yeah.
Right? Or we are all similar enough that any deviation from 50-50 shows you the amount of sexism in a workforce, and we are all so different that once you include women in previously male occupations, you will see a great benefit because of the diversity of opinion. Well, so there are all these self-contradictory couplets.
Right, that you have to agree to.
Well, that's the weird thing is assume that I just buy all of your stuff. I think we've made a terrible tactical error. We fought these bad ideas rather than saying, maybe we should just accept all of your bad ideas and then show you what kind of weird world.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No. You can't do that because they don't make sense. You can't say, oh, yeah, they make sense. Well, then how do I know when you're serious?
Well, but that's
if you just let those through and those things fail.
But that's my point is that by showing the internal this is in mathematics, we call this reductio ad absurdum, that once you take on too many different points, you show the conflicts showing that those things can't all be true. There's no way in which if I accept all of your ideas, I can run anything.